Good evening. It is Tuesday, November 8th, Election Day, and welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show post, live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We'll provide our opinions, positions on the hottest topics in sports this evening. My name is Big Reg. I got three of my partners in crime. We close to a full crew. We just missing two. I got my man J3 in the building. What's going on, J3?
What's up, Big Reg? What's up, Professor J? What's going on, Sense?
What's up,
What up,
J3?
Yay, yay!
The professor is in the building. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm feeling good. Great to see you fellas. J3, Big Red Sense. It is election season, just like you said. In Lamar Jackson, we trust. Cast that ballot. Praise the Lord. Let's go, fellas.
And last but definitely not least, Sense is in the building from the tip of the show. What's going on, partner? Good to see you this evening.
Good to see all of y'all. I haven't done this in a while, but let me go on and kick it off with a yes. It's time to get it going. Let's talk some sports, y'all. Let's go.
So this evening, we're going to give you real quick hits because we got a couple of interesting stories that we think are a little more nuanced than maybe what people are talking about. So we're going to give ourselves a little room. But of course, we're going to give you some college football and some NFL football and our final post of the evening. So as always, we appreciate you tuning in. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy post on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. Hey, fellas, we got to send out some congrats right off the top. First, we got to say congrats to the U.S. women's gymnastic team. I know it's not an Olympic year, but these young ladies, without some of their big hitters, just won their sixth straight team world championship gold medal.
Nice.
That is huge. Besides winning the team gold medal, Shalise Jones won silver in the individual all-around. She came in behind Brazil's Rebecca Andrade, who became the first woman from South America to win the all-around title. So that's cool. Another woman of color. She also won the silver in the uneven bars. And then Jade Carey won the gold medal in the vault, followed by Jordan Childs, who won the silver, both from the U.S. So, again, congratulations, ladies. Great job, and we keep you uplifted even in the non-Olympic years. Speaking of congrats, I got to give it out to my man, the great eight, Mr. Alex Ovechkin, for becoming the NHL all-time scorer with one franchise. He scored his 787th career goal with the Washington Capitals over the weekend. He just scored another one last night, so now he's up to 788. He passed the Hall of Famer, and by some, especially a lot of the old heads, the greatest hockey player to play, Gordie Howe, who had 786 in his great career with the Detroit Red Wings. For you pugilists out there like me, this Saturday, big UFC card, UFC 281. Saturday, November 12th in New York City's Madison Square Garden. You got two title fights with the main event featuring my man, middleweight champ Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. And if you haven't heard about this dude, Pereira is the only person to actually knock out Adesanya when they were both kickboxing champions years ago. Kickboxing, they use 12-ounce gloves. UFC, they use 5-ounce gloves.
You're going to feel that fist.
So this guy has been talking for years about how he's the only one to beat Adesanya and wait till he gets to the UFC. So he's been fast-tracked into this match. So that's going to be a big one. And then the co-main event has the capability, as it usually becomes, the best match of the night. The women's strawweight champion, Carlos Esperanza, who's in her second reign as champion, will defend her title for the first time again against former champ Zhang Weili, who participated in the best women's match ever when she fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and they went 5 rounds twice. So this has a chance to be a barn burner. And then just to add on, the whole card is nice. They threw in a little bit of dust on it. Their featured bout has former champion Dustin Poirier fighting Mike Chandler, two of the top lightweights. So it's gonna be a monster card. So
I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to check that one out.
A lot
if
of
you're
action.
not watching college football Friday night, get your popcorn ready. It's a great one. Shout out to our man Dusty Baker and the Houston Astros. A lot of people don't want to give the Astros praise.
About time.
Finally.
They did their thing. We got to call it like we said.
Dusty.
I said it. I was like, you're gonna have to give them their props if they win this one, man. They won this one fair and square.
Jamani don't say happy. Jamani, what's wrong, man?
Yeah, because he assuming that it was fair and square. I'm happy for Dusty, but I never give the cheating Houston Astros any prop. Good job, Dusty.
And Dusty announced tonight that he is coming back to manage again next year. So maybe Dusty should have, rolled that off into the sunset. But he enjoys baseball. He's a lifetime baseball man. So that's great. I will give to the Phillies, though. When we left y'all last Tuesday, Game 3 was happening that night. The Phillies won Game 3 7-0. They hit 5 home runs. All their runs were scored by home. I was like, uh-oh.
So close,
Phillies taking a 2-1 lead. Then the Astros won the next 3. Game 4, Astros pitched a combined no-hitter against the Phillies. So they went giving up 5 home runs. And on ESPN, there was a baseball player who's working as an analyst. He showed how the Astros pitcher was actually tipping his pitches in Game 3. I guess they figured that out. They shut them Bamas down in Game 4, 1-5-0. Game 5 was nip and tuck, 3-2. They was right there to the end. And then Game 6, the clinching, 4-1. Astros scored all 4 of their runs in the 6th inning. Only allowed the 1 run also in the 6th inning, pretty much shut them out again. So again, congratulations to the Houston Astros on their 2nd World Championship, and more importantly, congratulations to Dusty Baker.
Yay.
The only importance.
Let that go, man.
Wow.
All right, so we're gonna get into a subject we didn't touch on it at all last week.
And there's a reason for that.
On purpose. Because until what happened later on last week, I really didn't think it was a need for us to get involved in it. But this Kyrie Irving saga, fellas, I got a couple of questions I have for y'all. But first, for a general announcement to the public and our listeners, we all have free speech. But free speech ain't free. You're free to say whatever you want to say, but then you have to deal with the consequences of what you said.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And unfortunately, Kyrie is finding out the hard way. And also for the people who utilize social media was originally invented to bring people together. But once they figured out how a way to try to monetize it, and you start getting influencers and all that, it became a platform to advertise and support thoughts, products. So whenever you post something to your social media, you are advertising, whatever that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So you can't say I wasn't advertising or promoting something. You put it on your social media, especially if you're somebody that's an important figure, high price
Prominent.
Sports athlete that's got hundreds of thousands, got millions of followers. So that's my early introduction to how I see this in a big point of view. But what are y'all thoughts about the incident itself and how the media coverage is? Because I talked to some friends and all that, and a lot of people have concerns, if not outright angry, at how some of the black athletes that are in media now they feel piled on to the Kyrie Irving situation. So,
yeah, I mean, just personal feelings about that aside, I do feel like, it's being especially by the former players like Kendrick Perkins. I'm just gonna put his name out there. I think he's like, really. I think he's taking it a bit too far. Now I understand, like you said, freedom of speech, but you got to deal with the comeuppance that comes with that, and you got to be able to stand on that. And for the most part, I think that's what Kyrie's doing. But for them to like, start to for it to be sensationalized now in the manner that it is, and then for Brooklyn, to come and do all this, it's kind of like doing a bit too much. It's like trying to, and Shannon Sharp alluded to this, like break a buck. Like, look, we gonna make an example out of him. We gonna, pretty much in Kyrie's words, dehumanize.
Yeah, we're gonna get to part 2 of that.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna get to what the Nets are asking to do, because that's a different question. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I didn't want you to go too far on the part.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, cool. But yeah, I just think it is starting to get blown a bit out of proportion. I'm not for hate of any kind. I'm not for like the promotion of hate of any kind. But it's still like, it's from, you have to, you can't blow it up, to where you kind of start to distract from, what the original intent was. I don't feel his intent was malicious, but don't villainize the man either.
Here's my problem with the whole thing. You guys cut on your TVs lately, listening to your radios lately. Look at your cell phone and your social media lately. People from all walks of life, celebrities down to the man and woman up the street, are saying all manner of things about Black people. But I don't see organizations making anybody white claim that they're anti-racist, go through sensitivity training. They certainly don't hang them out to dry. They'll suspend them for a minute and they'll be right back on the air doing the same stuff that they were doing before. There's no outrage about any of that stuff. And here's another thing. You don't see a lot of their contemporaries piling on them like these Black athletes are doing today. My problem with them is that as my brother or sister, I can tell you that you're wrong without piling on top of you at the same time. What I don't like is that you have a lot of people that are front running because they work for the 4-letter network. They have brands that they're trying to protect, all that good stuff. So they're now jumping out there denouncing like, oh, I don't promote any type of hate. My issue with Kevin Durant, like you could have just said, look, if you're going to ask me about basketball, let's talk about basketball. Don't ask me about Kyrie. You want to talk to Kyrie? Talk to Kyrie. He shouldn't have had to go to qualify his statement and say, well, let me just say that I don't condone any hate. Same thing with what LeBron said. Like, my thing is, we don't need to hear from you all. If Kyrie is going to take a stance, let him deal with the fallout that happens from that. But to not have or say, look, we understand that there's a historical context here where there are many people and there's evidence out there. People actually do their research and stop doing all of this and actually read a book for a change, that Hebrews were people of color. They weren't white people. So if I'm saying something that's breaking your paradigm or whatever, then you haven't done your history and you're only believing what you find in books that were created by white companies. But for him to say that, or for people to say that he's spewing hate or whatever, here's where Kyrie was wrong. And then I'll let us go on with the show. He promoted a film that made claims about Hebrew people, the Holocaust, things of that nature. And that's where it crossed the line. My thing, and this is just my theory, Kyrie jumped on that bandwagon because he got the historical part that there were Black or African Hebrews in the beginning, right? And he didn't really watch the movie or do his research behind anything else that was said. So now he got caught out there. And in his arrogance, you're not going to tell Kyrie what to do. You're not going to tell him he needs to apologize. You're not going to tell him that he's wrong. So that's where the snowball effect came from. But what I need, Big Reg, J3, and Sense, and everybody listening, is before our pundits, our brothers and sisters that have these jobs, give their opinion, they need to do a little bit of research first before they just start piling on because their sponsors or company executives expect them to do so.
Real quick before you jump in, J3, you brought up the point I was going to bring up. I was going to wait till everybody put it out there. There was a lot of factual information in that information, but once you add the Holocaust didn't happen,
right,
That's when
quotes from Adolf Hitler,
right,
that
saying he was a
totally
genius,
negates everything else in that.
right.
Yeah.
So that was the issue. That once that stuff's in there, all the other stuff people aren't going to pay any attention to, right? And I'm not saying that's right, but that's just facts.
Yeah.
That's the part they're going to highlight. Yeah. And not the other.
All right, J3.
All I'm gonna say is, anytime Kyrie opens his mouth, sometimes you just gotta half listen because you already know he's gonna be saying stuff way to the left, and people just glue in on the smallest detail and then they blow it out of proportion.
Right.
Figure your source and keep it moving. That's what I do.
Yeah. Now, one thing you have to be able to do as a functioning adult, especially in this society, especially if you're any person of color, man or woman of any color, you got to be able to read the room and feel the climate. There was already information out there that said saying something against the Jewish faith is going to get you crushed. Because Kanye just went through it before that and lost more than half of his fortune.
Everything. Yeah.
In less than 2 weeks. So you knew. So when the team came to you and said, we got an issue about your tweet and we catching some heat, and at first you refused to take it down, and then not only you had one interview where you stand Kyrie, you're gonna tell me what to say. He was being Kyrie, I'll just leave it at that. Standing on his what he meant and not reading the room. But when he doubled down the second time after they kept him off the podium for several days, and after they worked with the Jewish Defamation League and came out with a resolution, even though he didn't actually go to those meetings, he sent his manager, which they didn't appreciate. And you knew that the person who runs the NBA, the commissioner of the NBA, is of Jewish faith, and he wanted to step in, but he was letting the team deal with it. Kyrie never read the room, and when he doubled down that second time, all bets all for him. That's how I see it.
I hear what you're saying, but you got to take in consideration what Professor J, Professor J stated. Regardless of what Kyrie said, where are all the advocates for the black people when they're talking about our race?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they quiet. And the same people that's piling on him don't say a mumbling word when something happens and it's against us and things of that nature. They don't say a thing.
No, because all the stuff while he speaks some things of just kind of of an outrageous nature, there's some truth in that as well. And if you muddle past all that and hear that, then you won't be so quick to pile on him. But yeah, to your point, you don't hear that, about when anything that's going on with black people until it's it's riots or something of an extreme nature goes on, and it's
something negative or something negative.
And I think to make things clear to people that are watching, I don't like Kyrie, but I'm looking beyond the man at the overall issue at how when things happen that we tend to be the antagonist of, the world, even our own, tends to just automatically just pile on top of us instead of saying, look, if I'm not going to say anything that's going to help the situation, let me not have a comment at all. Because when you do that, then the rest of the world looks at us like, yeah, y'all need to get y'all brother in check, things of that nature. And then you have people looking side eye at the rest of us. So we feel like we got to denounce him so that people don't look at us and say, oh, you probably think that too, don't you? So that's my kind of thing, that we revert back to how things were in the past, where we got to prove that we're on this side by denouncing and putting down our brothers and sisters.
Well, that's America in general nowadays. You got to be one side or the other. You can't be nuanced and actually be a thoughtful, thinking person and can be. There's good stuff on all sides, and I'm going to do what I think is best for all mankind. People don't want to hear that. So. On that second part that Sense was going to get in, we're going to just be on this for a real hot second. The Nets, with their 6 conditions they put out for Kyrie, they were trying to make an example out of Kyrie. And what brought that on? Unfortunately, it's Kyrie doing it to himself again. Kyrie refused to take the call and reply to text messages from his owner. And here's a guy of Chinese descent who's catching all this flack from all these people. He's trying to put it together, and you won't respond to him?
Yeah.
After the summer he done put him through and all, so he's already pissed. So now they just did this because they know Kyrie's not going to do all these things.
He's not going to do it, no.
So basically say, you just stay home, and we're going to pay you. You just go away. And then we'll deal with the NBA Players Association, which has said they're gonna file a grievance and try to get rid of this stuff. So that's what that was about. It wasn't about him actually doing the stuff. It's about them being pissed, and this is the way they can get out.
And you see what we just did, fellas? We thought critically about the situation, and we're parsing the man's character. We're not saying anything else disparaging about him. And that's my point. If we just look at his behavior and things that he's done now and in the past, you look at those things instead of all the other things. Oh, he's hateful. See, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what using this is all about.
You decipher,
right?
You make a judgment call from there. But just to put a bow on it, I feel the best move for Brooklyn, and I mean they're getting the ball rolling on it. I think now it's just cutting ties, and just hey man, good luck in free agency because
they're gonna miss his talent though. That's the sad part about it. They're gonna miss his talent on the court because he is a phenomenal player.
Yes.
But think about this, J3, and they had cut that Bama when I said during the COVID thing, most of the nucleus of their team would still be there, probably even James Harden, and they could have just moved on.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so we said our piece with that, and we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna move it on to some college football. The second college football playoffs rankings just officially came out. Former number 3 Georgia moved up to the number 1 spot. Ohio State stayed at number 2.
No.
Michigan's number 3.
Okay. Yeah, I give it to you. All right.
TCU went up to number 4.
Nice. Some new blood. Yes.
And let me just give it to you. I think Tennessee was dropped down to 5.
And Bama down to 9.
Bama's done.
Yeah,
Bama's
going. They ain't winning nothing this year.
So, so that.
And where did Clemson go, Big Reg?
Clemson dropped to 10.
Yeah, they were suspect from the jump. I don't know how they got ahead of
fighting Irish boy. I told y'all.
Yeah, I'll give it to y'all, man. Y'all did y'all thing against.
Yeah, so that's where we are. Georgia did its thing. I think Georgia was just bored because y'all remember week 2, I told you I think Georgia was going to win back-to-back championships, and they started playing a little funny, but they kept winning. I think they was just playing down to the competition.
What happened to Tennessee though?
They shut Tennessee's offense
down. Ooh, that's amazing.
Don't they average something like 400 yards of offense
and almost 50 points a game?
When you go against an elite defense like Georgia's, man, that's
I
what
enjoyed that game thoroughly.
Georgia was up 24-6 early in the first half and just coasted from there to 27-13 victory. And Tennessee didn't score that touchdown till late in the fourth quarter. They just we shutting your running game down. And We're going to get physical with your wide receivers, something Alabama didn't do.
Right.
And we're going to blitz and put pressure on your quarterback and make him prove that he can beat us under pressure.
Hey, and I know I talk about Bo Nix, but Stetson Bennett, what's gotten into him this year? He actually is becoming more of a player instead of a game manager.
Yeah.
You know, he had some great plays in that game.
Yeah, he stepped up with the 2 TD passes and a 13-yard TD run.
Yeah.
In big games, he's stepping up to the plate. Yeah. So, yeah, they are the best team in the country right now.
Georgia's looking legit.
I think he's feeling more comfortable in the backfield, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ohio State Northwestern game, Ohio State won. Don't get confused about the score of the 21-7. They had 40 plus mile-an-hour winds throughout that game. Throwing the ball was almost impossible. And kicking the ball, they showed the kickers practicing in pregame. A kicker was trying to kick a 30-yard field goal. He kicked the ball in the air, and the ball went straight up and stopped and dropped to the ground.
So, in other words, if you ain't have a running game, you wasn't going to be nowhere close to winning that game.
Yeah, it was just ugly. So, still not sure about. Still not sure about what Ohio State is. In my personal opinion, I think the second best team in the country who's played the most consistent football all year is currently number 3 Michigan.
I knew Wolverine. Look at his face. Look at his face.
Hey, it's true. What Michigan has done this year has been consistent and solid. That move that I questioned early on about them changing to the younger quarterback after the other quarterback got them to the college football, he's added a dynamic to their offense where he can run a little bit, and it seems like he's just a little bit better passer, not much better, but being able to run and throw it a little bit better, that's changed their climate. And the DMV of Blake Corum.
Why ain't he being considered for a Heisman right now? I mean, he should be in the running. My man, it's just like, So I mean, now time will like this. I don't know when Ohio State and Michigan plays, but that's going to be the determinant.
3 weeks from now, last game in November.
I can't wait to see that.
And that's going to work that self out. So that's not a problem.
The granddaddy of a ball.
Shout out to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish head coach Marcus Freeman. They punched Clemson in the mouth.
We already knew Clemson was suspect anyway, so they just solidified that.
I'm glad they finally got exposed, man, because Clemson was definitely looking suspect.
Man,
but I mean, they had Dabo so confused. He benched the starting quarterback, put in the backup, and then
put him back in. Right? I was loving it. Oh my God, I was loving it.
Yeah,
punishing him.
Dabo need to be ashamed of himself, man.
Marcus Freeman, oh my goodness, and Tommy Reese, he pulled some tricks out of his offensive bag. I like the game call. Yeah, they put it on him from the beginning to the end. Oh man.
And it seems like that he's finally got the team to buy into his new vision. I think that first few weeks they were struggling. They liked the coach, but they weren't sure if he could coach. Now they're seeing the fruits of his labor, and they can cause some people some major problems coming down the stretch. So again, shout out to Notre Dame.
Thank you.
Thank you, Notre Dame.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they definitely helped you out.
Right. Putting Michigan in its rightful place.
Man, y'all know I'm roll tide all day, all night. But I'm also on this show to tell, as I said, Nick Saban's slipping. Because the stuff that's going on this year, I said it after the Texas game, after win. I came in and killed Alabama for 3 minutes straight after the loss to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Nick Saban and his coaching staff got out-coached against LSU. LSU was the more fundamental team. And shout out, I got to give Kelly some credit. Going for 2 in overtime,
Yeah.
saying we either gonna win this or lose
Yeah.
this right
That
now.
was bold.
Took some
Respect.
gonads, and
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels. They had that young man kept in the pocket for 3 quarters, and then started playing around with their defense and let him start running in the 4th quarter, and it cost him the game. But Bama has been undisciplined, way too many penalties. They're not tackling right.
Yeah.
From our partner in crime, Ed, who I watched the game with, he was hot. Ed's like fired the offensive coordinator, fired the defensive coordinator, because they're making the same mistakes each week. But he knows the defensive coordinator isn't going anywhere, Pete Golden, because he's one of the best recruiters in the country.
Well, let me ask this, Big Rich. Yeah. Could it be that they're like, dare I say, getting a little like full of themselves, kind of cocky, that they've won like for so long, and
but this team hasn't won anything. This team lost in the national championship. They were supposed to be coming back to right that wrong, so they're supposed to be focused. They've had national championship the year after national championship. See that little slide. This team didn't win anything.
Now they're thinking just the expectation. Oh, this is going to be a breeze, or we can just coast through these teams, or we could beat the Tennessee, we could beat the LSU.
But that's why I say Saban's slipping, because Saban didn't used to allow that, and for players who kept making mistakes, they wouldn't play anymore. And you end up hearing about them at the end of the season, them transferring out, because Saban wasn't going to tolerate that. Now it's just like, hey, I think Saban has moved to the CEO phase of his career, and he's like, I got my coordinators to do anything. It's not as hands-on. And with the transfer portal, NIL, and the fact that he's got real good coaches in the SEC now who aren't scared of him, who can recruit and bring in similar talent. I'm not saying they did, but I think what Bama was and what Bama's new reality is going to be a whole lot different. They're going to be fighting and struggling with everybody else in the SEC.
It's going to be a turn of the tide, no pun intended.
Well, they definitely need to work on some daggone cornerbacks, because them cornerbacks was getting toasted.
Yeah.
So with that said, Big Reg, do you think Nick Saban's time is up?
National championship winning might be. He's still a good coach, and the way they recruit and the caliber of people, they got the #1 recruiting class coming in next year, and they got two of the top quarterbacks coming in next year. To talk about your point, J3, they got 2 of the top 5 quarterbacks coming in. They got a bunch of wide receivers coming in, so they're going to be able to restock this. It's the fact that what coordinators you're going to have, and what are they teaching these guys, because it doesn't look like the younger guys are progressing like the old coordinators used to do.
And that was going to be you need to stay off them Aflac. That was my point too, Big Rich. Like, has Nick gone a little Hollywood, like a little too Hollywood on us?
That's why I say I think he in his CEO phase now.
And is O'Brien still his OC?
Unfortunately. Hope he get a job. I pray he get a job, because that'd be the best thing for Alabama.
Wasting them running backs, wasting everything, man.
Real quick shout outs. Got a shout out to number 8 Oregon. You mentioned before, Bo Nix is killing it in Oregon.
He's about to get a job in the NFL.
Threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for 2 touchdowns, and caught a touchdown.
He's about to get a job.
They killed Colorado 49-10. They're setting themselves up. They got 2 big games left. They played number 14 Utah, I think, this week or next week. And then they finished with the Oregon State game at the end of the month. And then if they can run that table, it's either going to be them or Utah is going to play the winner of the USC UCLA end of the game winner, because that's who win the other division. So the Pac-12 needs Oregon to either win or USC or UCLA to win that and not lose another game in order for them to have a chance of getting into the college football playoffs. Texas had a good win, fellas. They beat Kansas State. Sark was on the verge of getting fired. So anytime you can win on the road against a ranked team, that's a good win. And absolutely, we got to shout out Jackson State, 9-0.
Prime time.
Or they won 14 against Texas Southern. They got 2 more games before they play in the SWAC championship game. They've already locked their position there. Man, Prime is doing his thing. And his son, Shador, he putting up huge numbers, though.
Yeah, I love what they're doing over there, man.
Yeah.
So
here's what we got to look for. Here's what we got to look for in week 11. Number 6 Alabama, or actually number 9 Alabama, is going to go to Ole Miss this weekend. That's going to be a big
Lane
game.
Kiffin already talking trash.
The revenge tour.
That's a 3:30 p.m. game on CBS. You got number 10 LSU going to Arkansas, a noon start on ESPN. Did they get too hyped and leave everything on the field against Bama? And will slip up and let Alabama back into this?
We shall see.
Can Clemson climb out from getting just embarrassed by Notre Dame when they host Louisville?
Come on, Lou.
The battle for the New Year's Day non-Power 5 bowl. No, because that's the thing. The top non-Power 5 team gets a New Year's Day bowl. You got number 25 UCF and number 19 Tulane. That's a huge game because that's big money to one of those schools.
Tulane, let's go.
And then you got Georgia and Mississippi State. Is Georgia going to revert back to how they've been playing earlier and take a week off and mess around and slip up? Oh, I forgot the biggest one: TCU at Texas.
Oh yeah,
can Texas knock TCU out to the unbeaten?
Right.
That would save Sark's job for sure for at least 2 years.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we will hit you back with the college football news next week and see how the teams fared. Let's get into the NFL and the big news of the week.
Trash.
First of all,
I don't even follow him no more, but trash.
Indianapolis Colts owner, and this is coming straight from the owner, Jim Irsay had them fire the offensive coordinator last week.
Mm-hmm.
Then he fires head coach Frank Reich this week. Not bad enough that he fired probably a decent coach. I'm not saying they're a great coach. I think he's a decent coach. They're just struggling this year. He had the nerve to hire ESPN analyst Jeff Saturday as the interim head coach.
Who ain't never coach?
He's a Hall of Famer. He's in their Ring of Fame. He's a multi-time Pro Bowler, all-pro player, great guy. Nothing against Saturday, but he has no qualifications for this.
Coach a lick of football in his life.
Well, that's not 100% true.
High school.
For the last 3 years, he's been coaching his son's high school football team.
Okay.
But his qualifications
still don't qualify.
Don't qualify.
And I'm good friends with the owner, and in the Hall of Fame was Peyton Manning Center.
White privilege.
Yep.
What's your thoughts, fellas?
That's all.
First I laughed, and then I got mad.
Yeah, let me get at this. And thank you, Professor, for sending us that link with Joy Taylor, because I didn't even know that. You have Reggie Wayne already on your staff. Someone who has experience, who, as far as the Colts are concerned, as far as like the intricate like details and all of that, and you bring in somebody fresh off the cameras and Jeff Saturday. Yeah, granted, he played for you. He was had some great years with Peyton, but it's like a slap in the face. Especially if I was Reggie Wayne, I'd be pissed. Like, come on, man.
Not only Reggie Wayne, Cato June, another big-time former Colts player, who's been an assistant for 12 years. This is Reggie Wayne's first year as assistant. So Cato June's been an assistant for 12 years with the organization. Kevin Mawai, one of the best offensive linemen of all time, been there for 6 years. He's got 2 former head coaches, Gus Bradley, if you want to go that route, or John Fox in there, But then you got other people that have years and years of experience. Defensive back coach Ron Mullis, 32 years experience.
Man, this is why he made Andrew Luck quit, man. All this nonsense that's going on in there. You got, I mean, we see it as plain as day for what it is, and it's still just being done right in our faces. I mean, there's no shame. I'm not kidding when I tell you Irsay is still on them drugs, man.
Yes.
Some of the, if you just listen to him talk and how he tries to justify his decision making and things that he does. I mean, even people on the radio today that are friends of Jeff Saturday was like, man, I wish him luck, but I don't think it's going to end well. These are people that know him. And it's ridiculous. And you had some people say, man, it's just a tank job that Irsay is just doing this so he can improve their draft status or whatever. But again, you have people of color that are on this staff that aren't even getting a sniff when they could have stepped into this job easily instead of picking up a phone, pulling a man off his job at the network to come in to do a press conference because he's now the head coach of a professional football team. That doesn't strike bizarre to everybody that they can just pick up a phone, call a friend, right? Like on some game show and say, hey, I want you to come run my team. And that's that. And we just supposed to shut up.
Crazy. Two things I'm going to say to this real quick. It seems like the Colts are like the Brooklyn Nets of the NFL right now because you're having a coach off the street with no experience.
Because he was a good player, right?
Because he was a good player. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if a certain colleague of color who is going to make some noise about this because he's forever like running his yap about, you know, the paucity of black coaches. But, you know, you got your man's right next to you who just got the job. Are you going to say something?
He said something today.
Oh, okay.
He said something today. He definitely said this, and nothing against Jeff, but Jeff didn't deserve that his job.
He didn't deserve it, right? Didn't deserve it.
And because the Rooney Rule doesn't apply to interim coaches, he didn't have to interview anybody else. He just could hire whoever he wanted to.
Right.
So they need to address that. But I told my wife, I said, I think he called Saturday. First, I think he called Peyton.
Oh,
even though he said it and asked for a favor. And Peyton was like, yeah, nah. Then he called Saturday. And Saturday said,
Peyton is smarter than that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need a favor. Can you come help me out? And Saturday's love for the Colts and affinity for the owner and the fact that, hell, who knows? If I can come in and win 3 games, maybe I can stick around for another year. Get me a 2 or 3 year contract for $6 to $8 million a year, and then go back to TV. He ain't got nothing to lose. He got a job at ESPN waiting for him as soon as it's done. So it's just a shame people like the Brian Leftwich of the world
be enemies,
putting in the work.
Be enemies. Putting in work year after year as coordinators of high octane units and can't get a sniff at a job.
Right.
But somebody can pick up a phone and say, hey, come be the head coach.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
sure.
And you don't think they're respected? Who did Tom Brady hug first when he got there when he walked off the win on Sunday?
Leftwich.
He hugged Byron Leftwich. Exactly.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. So yeah, that's yeah. All right. Last week, I gave y'all kind of my ranking of football teams. I did a little update. They're still pretty much the same. The elite teams, there's only one elite team, as I said, in the NFC, them Philadelphia Eagles. In the AFC, I was thinking about taking Buffalo out because of the way they played. We'll get into them in a second. But I still got the Bills and the Chiefs. Then I got your Super Bowl contenders, the Vikings, the NFC Vikings, Dallas, San Francisco 49ers.
I gotta give it up to Kirk, man. My goodness, bro.
And then the AFC, the Miami Dolphins, and I added back in the Cincinnati Bengals the way they played last week. And then you got a lot of playoff teams, the Giants, the Bucks, Seahawks, and somewhere between the Rams, Falcons, and Saints, one of them going to get that last in the NFC. And the AFC, you got the Chargers. And I think the Jets are playing like a playoff team, and it's either going to be them or the Patriots. So that's kind of my rankings as I see it. I also see the AFC East and the NFC East are the best two divisions in football.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, Big
Beginning
Reg.
of the year, we didn't think that was going to happen. So
Big Reg, forget the Cincinnati Bengals. They need to be called the Joe Mixons from now on. That man have won my fantasy.
Wow.
5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns.
My goodness.
It's amazing.
that touchdown pass he caught in the corner,
Yeah.
running the wheel route,
Nice. Yeah.
that was a thing of beauty. But man, they pounded and pounded the ball. I mean, 22 carries, 153 yards for 4 TDs rushing.
Thing of beauty. Thing of beauty.
The one thing I was mad about that, though, he cost PJ his job. Because he was so dominant that they had to bitch PJ and they put your man Baker back in. So
How many touchdowns?
He ain't have to do that.
But let's be real, Big Red. We know PJ will revert back to being a backup quarterback sooner or later.
I just want to keep PJ in the league like the others do. I want him to have a 12-year NFL career, make millions of dollars, and never really be a starting quarterback.
But Jacoby Brissett still hanging around.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see us be able to do that. So,
Speaking of which, what did y'all think about Patrick Willis playing?
who?
Willis from
Patrick Willis.
49ers. Tennessee.
Oh, Malik Willis.
Oh, Malik Willis.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're thinking of the 49ers line. Patrick Willis, he's back. I was like,
I was about to say, he back. Patrick Willis back, huh?
I meant to say Malik.
Yeah, Malik.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's not ready for the NFL, in my opinion. And they knew that coming in. So they're putting him in a situation that's not fair to him because the offense he came out of compared to the offense that they're trying to run, where he needs to be more of a under the center drop back quarterback in their offense, and he hasn't done that. And he's coming from a lower division at Liberty playing football. It's just not fair to him.
Yeah, it's a straight disservice. I'm of the same opinion. He should have been third string, and they could have just got a guy off the street to really fill that void. Now he's an athlete. You know, you can run the boots, all that kind of stuff, quarterback draw. Because he can do it, but he's not ready to read past one progression in the defense and to get the ball out on time and stuff like that. I mean, think about it. If he didn't have
Derrick Henry,
that game would have been totally one-sided.
And Tennessee's not going to do what the Chicago Bears did, and we killed them earlier, so I get them credit. They changed their offense.
Oh yeah. And
after realizing after the first few games that what we're trying to get him to do isn't working, so let's cater our offense to what he can do, and then slowly add stuff to him. The Titans aren't going to change their offense for Malik Willis, at least not this year.
No.
Speaking about teams that cater to their quarterback, them Philadelphia Eagles look like a monster, fellas.
Man,
that's who Washington got next.
Jalen Hurts.
Hopefully, we get Chase back.
Chase ain't gonna matter, dog. Where that offensive line is moving, and if you gonna come up and stop the run, then you got them two beastie wide receivers to deal with. So they a problem. And how they playing on defense too?
Yeah,
problems.
2 interceptions, easy.
Silly me to think the Texans actually had a chance when it was tied. What was it, 14-14?
Now they didn't take them serious. Then they turned on the afterburners, and then they cut it off again. That's the one issue the Eagles have. They've been like killing people in the second quarter. They see how you play them in the first quarter. They kill you in the second quarter, then coast to the end of the game. But yeah, they're gonna be a problem.
Yeah, them receivers.
Yeah. Speaking about problems, the Bills got a problem. And it's Josh Allen, their star quarterback. For the second week in a row, This dude has thrown 2 bad interceptions, and against the Jets, it should have been 3 because the DB had one thrown right to his chest and dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so he's thrown 4 bad interceptions in the past 5 quarters because he did it twice against Green Bay in the 4th quarter, and now he's got the bad elbow.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bills got issues.
You think Josh is trying to do too much?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm hoping they can get that running game started because he needs some help. And he's he can't be throwing the ball, 40 and 50 times if he's gonna get that elbow together. I mean, similar to what Matthew Stafford ended last year with, that it's a lingering thing and it'll make you throw some bad balls, man.
Yeah. So he's been known to have some sloppy games, but this is 2 games in a row. And after saying he played badly in the Green Bay game, to come back and play even worse in this game, that's a problem.
But I want to take some time to actually give the Jets some props because they like that deep. They through hook or crook, they've been finding ways to win. And just when they wrote the Jets off for that loss for that last loss, they came through and actually fought. So I'm gonna give Robert
They're
Saleh
taking on the persona of their coach. So,
Robert Saleh has that defense as a top 10 defense. After last year, that defense was looking a little crazy. He's tweaked it. He's got them boys running around. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. And Sauce Gardner is a baller. That rookie cornerback has no fear. He don't care who's out there. He was talking trash against Diggs all game.
He looking like Revis out there.
So shout out to the 6-3 Jets. They're a real team.
What's your thoughts on Miami Dolphins? Because look like Tua bringing that team around too.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins, if Tua can play and finish, the Dolphins gonna score 30 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is playing like trash now, and I don't know what happened to their defense, but they're gonna put 30 on you. So, can you keep up?
Yeah, that's the question.
Tua's won his last 9 games that he started and finished.
Respect to that, man. Because talk about bouncing back. After that concussion, we didn't know what was going to be of him, but he's another one that fought his way back.
And those talking about receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, the Cheetahs.
You got the cheat code.
The Cheetahs got the most yards through 9 games ever in NFL history. He's on pace to shatter the NFL record for receiving yards in one year, which is owned by Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
He's on pace to do 2,000 in receiving yards, with Waddle on pace to give you like 12 to 1,300.
Imagine that.
Yeah, they scary.
So with that being said, one more question for you, Big Rich. What's going on with Kyler Murray and his squad?
Mighty Mouse.
The Cardinals are done, fellas. They are imploding. And now you got, did y'all see Kyler in his press conference today was talking about the we playing losing football and all that? That's the second time he done went after his coach. He done told his coach on it got caught on national TV, shut the F up, calm down. And now he's saying we playing losing football. I think he's tired of dealing with the coach and he's trying to take control.
Of course, because it had to come from the head coach that he wasn't studying, he wasn't disciplined, he wasn't doing all that kind of stuff. So their riff was bound to come to a head this year.
Speaking of losing football, though, we cannot, and I know we probably going to segue, but we have to talk about Mr. Rodgers.
You mean Mr. Throw 3 red zone interceptions?
3.
It
ain't a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
That's his discount double check.
3 red zone interceptions.
And they all look terrible, too. He
and lose
right
to
the defenders.
What used to be the 1-6 Lions, who are terrible.
Yeah, it's what he deserves.
Yeah,
for real.
We said that team was very close to imploding. So, yeah. Hey, I got to give a shout out before we get out of here. Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Lamar said, "You know what? We're not losing this."
That's right. That's right.
Pay me my money.
That's right.
Patrick Mahomes playing the Titans. The Titans, they got physical. They shut the Chiefs running game off. The longest run a running back had for the Chiefs was 5 yards. And I think the top running back rusher had 25 yards for the game. They shut their running game off, so they just stopped running the ball until the fourth quarter when Mahomes just said, "You know what? I've been throwing it all over the yard, but now I'm going to beat you with my feet."
Yeah.
Ran for a fourth quarter touchdown, like 2 or 3 third down conversions, ran for the 2-point conversion. He was like, you said MVPs put teams on their back and say, "We're not losing this game."
Yeah.
And then, as you said, we see Rodgers throwing games away like he don't want to be there pouting like a spoiled child, in my opinion. That's all I'll just say.
Go touch on the Vikings and Washington Commanders real quick.
Yeah, man. Go ahead. Woo.
Man.
The Commanders were in control of that game for 3 quarters.
Oh man, what happened? Like, oh my God, we were up with like 4 minutes left.
But that's what happens when
That's
you got a
what they
Heineke throwing as your starter. He's a gamer. He gonna keep you in the games, but every now and then he gonna make the mistake that's gonna cost you a game. Damn. And shout out to Cousins. I gotta get. It seems like his teammates love him because his celebration on the plane when they iced him and embarrassing. So it seems like there's a whole new energy in the Vikings. And to be 7-1, I don't care who you are. Be 7-1 in the NFL is hard to do, and they're gonna win that division.
Yeah, they running away with that joint. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, they
gotta
running
give
away
Kirk
with
his
that joint.
props. He gotta get his props.
The question is he going to take him to the promised land?
No,
that's the question.
He's still Kirk.
As long as he beat Dallas, if he faced Dallas, I'm happy with that. That'll be his Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. And we got to give a shout out to the offensive player of the week. And I know we talked about Joe Mixon, and he had a hell of a game. But what the Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields did,
man,
rushing for 178 yards, an NFL record, while throwing 3 touchdown passes, was stupid.
Yeah, but Big Reg, that's not sustainable, man. They're gonna get that boy hurt, man.
If RG3.
If they keep running him like that and don't, man, I'm telling you, you heard it first.
He was getting beat up. Them asking him to drop back 3-5 step drop and try to stay in a pocket for offensive line that couldn't block. So at least they tried changing it up.
So we going back to our narrative. What they do for black quarterbacks, not much. You know, you don't put anything around them to keep them upright, and then you run them into the ground.
I definitely feel
yeah, he had a monster game, but it just makes me nervous, y'all.
I agree with you. So the intriguing games in the NFL, Thursday night game, Falcons and Panthers, but it's the only game on Thursday. So Sunday, you have a morning game this Sunday. Seahawks at versus Tampa Bay, not at Tampa Bay.
That's gonna be good.
The game is coming from Munich, Germany.
That's gonna be good.
Game ever in Germany. It's gonna be sold out. So 9:30 a.m. you can watch some football.
We'll
be on the bridge. We'll be on the bridge, walking the bridge. So you have
we'll be walking that bridge, so we ain't gonna say it live.
Or we might catch the second half, but we'll y'all let us know what's happening. You got Vikings at Bills. That's a big game. That's a 1:00 game.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Broncos.
Where's that game?
It's at Buffalo.
Oh, okay. I thought Diggs was coming back to
Minnesota. You got Broncos coming off of their bye week facing the Titans. Can they deal with that running game, or will this be the final nail in the coffin for Denver and possibly their coach?
Terrible coach.
Browns at the Dolphins, the Cowboys at the Packers. Now this might not be a good game, but can Aaron Rodgers have one of those games and actually knock the Cowboys
I
out.
hope so.
Man.
That'd be the only time I'm rooting for that Bama. Beat the Cowboys.
You know, Micah gonna eat. Micah gonna eat.
5 touchdowns, Rodgers.
Yeah. Then you got the Sunday night game, the Chargers at the 49ers, and Monday night.
That's a good
Monday. Watch, you got to deal with the Eagles on Monday night. That's bad.
in Philly. Oh my God!
Especially when you know their record in night games. It's not good.
Oh, that's bad. That's not gonna get well for Washington. I'm sorry. Your bye week teams: the Bengals, Jets, Patriots, and the Ravens. All right, fellas, it's time for our final post so we can get up out of here for the evening. J3, start us off.
Yeah, just want to say I'm ready for this walk on Sunday. We're going to do the Bay Walk. Bay Bridge Walk should be what, 6.2, 6.7 miles?
6.2 miles, 10K.
Come join us. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, hopefully we can make this an annual event for people, and we can let y'all know earlier so y'all can get in, get the discounts. But yeah, we're going to do that thing this Sunday morning. Professor J, what you got for me?
All I got to say is I hope you all have exercised your right to vote. Our democracy is on the ballot, so don't be fooled. You got to pay attention. You got to let your voices be heard. God bless you.
Sense.
Speaking of the Commanders, as you know, the sweepstakes to buy the team is on, and I just want to, you're hearing different reports of, who's interested in buying them. I just want to make a plea to, us, the brothers who are billionaires, as Jay-Z said, what's better than one billionaire too? Like put all, it would be a great look to put all your money together to try to buy this team, finally have some owners of color. And to echo your sentiment, Professor, yes, I hope everyone exercise their right to vote. Your life depends on it. We got to make your voice heard.
And I will close out keeping the theme of voting. People don't realize, and I want to talk specifically to people that say my vote don't count. Voting on the national level, you may not see that on a day-to-day basis, but it does affect your life. We can see that right now, women's rights being taken away. Next on the ballot is going to be taking away marriage rights for people who gain rights and some other things that are becoming. So it affects you. But what's more important is if you're not voting in the big races, we know you're not voting in the local races. And the local races are the ones that you have to deal with every day. The councilman that you don't vote for, the mayor that you don't vote for, your region or district person that you don't vote for. These are the people that affect your daily life. And if you don't like the way things are happening and you're not voting, shame on you. I'll leave it at that.
Amen.
We'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening. We appreciate your time and opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. Me and the fellas are here each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for our live show. We'd love for you to join us live, and you can comment, and we appreciate the comments. BJ, always appreciate you. Much love to you. Sis, thank you for stopping in. Mama Marshall, we love you. Keep it up. We'd love to have more of our family members comment on us. But if for some reason you can't catch the live show, we upload, thanks to Professor J, upload our previous shows to our YouTube channel, to our Facebook page, Positions on Sports Talk Show. If you prefer to go to a podcast platform, just put in our name, Positions on Sports Talk Show, and you can find uploaded shows on your favorite podcast platform. And then hit us up, Facebook at Positions on SPO1, Twitter. I'm not sure how much longer we're going to have that, but we'll deal with that on another level. Positions on SPO1. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we appreciate your time and opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. Have a great week. Be safe out there. And again, I hope you voted. Peace.
Well, wonderful life. See you.
Don't vote Herschel Walker.